All right, everyone, welcome back for another installment of our second year experience podcast. Again, my name is Paolo, and today we are here to talk about the beginning of the end, highlighting it being the beginning of your spring quarter, the end of your second year. I'm joined here with Diego, one of the 2XL mentors. So if you want to introduce yourselves to everyone.
So hi, my name is Diego. I'm currently a third year international political science and economics major, and I'm a second year 2XL mentor.
Awesome, cool. So again, like today, the goal of today, we are just going to have a brief conversation about finishing up your second year. It is your spring quarter. There's a lot of fun and anticipation, a lot of things to look forward to, like summer break, sun god, other things that happen throughout from now to the end of the year. But also reminding you that it is still an important, integral part of your second year to finish strong as you go into this for the second half of your college career. So I guess like just to start the conversation, Diego, if you wanted to share with us, how was your second year, the spring quarter, and how was it for you? Anything challenging and stuff like that?
My spring quarter it went pretty well, I would say, but one of the more challenging thing was trying to stay motivated and on top of all my work and setting myself up to have a successful quarter and beyond. The weather is nicer now. And there's more things to do during this time of year than during winter quarter. And that was one of the hardest things to try to balance all the stuff going outside of school and balancing what's going on inside of school.
Yeah, and so like I guess for you, knowing that the beach is like right there, it's so easy for you to like not necessarily like ditch class or like not do homework or whatever, you know. How did you balance that? What motivated you to stay on top of your stuff?
Well, I think one of the most important things was like learning to time manage. Coming into college, personally, it wasn't one of my strengths. And as time went on, by the spring quarter, it had been 6 quarters here at UCSD. I kind of got more of a hang of things, of how stuff works, where I like to study. So I think the biggest thing for me was learning to like time manage and then like enjoying things too, because it's important to self-care and take breaks. So it wasn't like I wasn't doing anything fun, but I was trying to take everything in at an equal amount.
And it's good to hear that for you, after all those quarters being at UCSD, you were able to figure out what worked for you, how to time manage. So for those who don't know necessarily any strategies, do you have any tips on how to time manage?
I think one of the most important things is being honest with yourself. One of the hardest things for me was like telling myself I'm going to study tomorrow, knowing pretty sure that I didn't feel like studying or wasn't in the mood to study. And after a while, I pretty much started getting into the habit of being honest with myself. For me personally, I don't like studying Friday nights. There's certain things that I don't like doing. I have to take into a consideration. One of my personal rules is I don't study on the day of exams ever. So I have to spread out my studying beforehand to make sure I get everything in, and then the day of the exam, I just take the exam and don't worry about studying.
And that's really cool. I think like for me, I was always the one to like cram everything last minute. The morning of, I'd be hella stressed and everything. So I think it's a good mantra to have, to know that going in like clear-headed and stuff like that. And like you said, it's important to be honest with yourself of how different things work for different people. For some people, like you said, studying on Friday nights is not going to happen. For some people, it's what, they have nothing else. So sometimes it is what you'd end up doing, especially when like sometimes the exam is on Saturday and like, you have to like give up certain things. So like you said, like being honest with yourself and knowing your capacity, figuring out what it is that works for you. So for me, like using checklist of items, like, I have to, if there's what do they call it? The podcast, is it a podcast? The podcast, podcast class. When they do that online, just knowing like I could review it and having a schedule of myself, not to have to watch, say, 10 weeks worth of lectures in one night. So knowing, like you said, just how to spread things out and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think too, one of the things I like doing, I really like using technology. I don't like having an agenda as much. I have everything on my phone. I have my classes integrated into my Google Calendar, so it always tells me when I have class, exams, so on. But one of the things that I started doing around that time period, going to the gym, especially instead of watching Netflix or something else, when you're at the gym, I'll watch a podcast, maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but it's just You can stay on top of your work and just learning to multitask and take advantage of all the opportunities you have, because time is short in college.
So would you say that you've accomplished everything you wanted to in your second year?
I would say no.
Okay.
I don't regret it per se, but I didn't accomplish everything. But I mean, college is a process. You don't just show up and finish everything. Like, it takes time to learn and do everything you want to.
Yeah. And so I guess, like, looking back and reflecting on your second year, was there anything that you wish you would have done differently, or things that, for the listeners, things you would recommend looking into trying to finish up in your second year?
Yeah. Okay. So the end of your second year is pretty much it's a very important time for your college career, because you're going to be transitioning into being an upperclassman. So that means your time is running out. You're almost halfway done with college for most people. And then all these opportunities start opening up. A lot of programs only take upperclassmen, but they want you to have experience and all this stuff beforehand. So one of the things I regretted doing, or don't regret, but I wish I would have done, was visit more offices for more of these programs I was interested in. So being an international studies major, focusing on politics, one of the things I wanted to do was UCDC. But I never got around going to the office and planning it out, trying to make room for it in my schedule, even though I feel like it would have been a great opportunity. And also to, like, looking into more internships and spending your summers differently. I took classes over the summer, which was fine, but I could have probably done more at the same time. So there's just this transition point of being honest with yourself and kind of figuring out what you want to do. If you want to go to grad school, for me, one of the biggest things I did was focusing on what grad schools were requiring. Some of them require all these test scores, and some of them require different activities, and you can't do that overnight. It takes time in finding out what's needed, because you will be applying, most people, by the fall of their senior year. So that gives you a year to figure everything out, taking all the classes, speaking with academic advisors, and just being on top of your stuff.
So I guess, like, bringing it back to something you had mentioned, what for those who don't know what UCDC is, did you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so UCDC is a program here on campus. It kind of gears towards political science majors, but I believe it's open to all majors. And you can spend either a quarter or like a summer in Washington, D.C. So what you end up doing is you go to Washington, D.C., you stay there, you like study one of the universities, and like you can work on and see what it's like to be in politics. I think I have a couple of friends right now who are trying to lobby Congress to pass certain laws. So you spend your time in Washington, D.C. if that's something you're interested in. And if that's too far for you, I believe there's also a program where you can go to Sacramento, to the state capital of California. And I know a lot of people here from Sacramento, so you can go back home and you lobby California legislation.
Wow, that's really dope. Yeah, no, for me, like, I was never really involved necessarily with, like, all those, like, politics, study abroad opportunities, and, like, because for me, I was a bio major, and knowing that they have those opportunities and it's open is important for people to know, just to, you know, widen their perspective on different things that they can get involved in and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's good to be a well-balanced student.
Definitely.
And just trying out different things. You never know what might happen.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess, like, seeing that you are as a third year now, how much have you felt your second year experience has affected your performance in your second half of your college career?
Well, I think it affected it a lot, actually, now that I think about it. So like I said, I was reaching out to all these grad schools, and currently now I'm applying to grad school. And I don't think I would have been able to make it this far into the process if I hadn't made sure I met all the requirements or started meeting the requirements beforehand. Also, to building on, like, time management skills and studying skills, and just overall getting to know college better, and taking advantage of everything going on campus. I think that all started my second year, because freshman year, I feel like freshman year is more of like you adapting to being on campus, and the second year really sets you up to be successful and accomplish all the goals you want to go going forward in your career, both in college and professionally.
Definitely. And I guess as we're finishing our conversation and wrapping it up, do you feel like there's any last words of advice that you want to share with our second year students? Any things you feel like is a, like a to-do list of things that you feel like they should be looking forward to as they, because it being week 2 or like week 3 by the time they're hearing this, maybe they have the whole quarter ahead of them. So is there anything that you feel they should be thinking about as they're finishing up their second year?
Yeah, I would definitely be thinking about your future plans, and not in a way where you feel like you're stressed and you need to know everything you're going to do in your life. Just capitalizing on things you may be interested in. For me personally, I was interested in study abroad, and I went through to the office for the first time as a second year. I spoke to them what the program entailed and this, so on and so forth. And I figured out it wasn't something I was that interested in at the moment. There was other opportunities after, but I wouldn't have known that, and I wouldn't have been comfortable with myself, like knowing like I could have gone abroad to a country. So just really going to all these offices and just trying to get more information and setting yourself up. There's the academic internship office that you can go visit if you want to try to get some internships, or there's different programs. One of the programs I was really interested in was the McNair Scholars Program, and that's for students interested in getting a PhD, and it has certain requirements. So just really trying to capitalize on all these programs on campus and just visiting their office and trying to set the groundwork for you to be able to be successful and maybe apply and get into these programs in the future.
Awesome, cool. And I want to thank you again for taking the time to share these experiences with our second year students. Hopefully, by listening to our podcast today, you learned some things. You were able to reflect on your own experience as a second year student, and feel re-energized to finish your second year strong as you go forward into the second half of your college career. So again, I want to thank you for being here. Did you have any things you want to say, reach out, contact, or anything for you?
Yeah, well, I'm a second year experienced mentor also, so I have drop-in hours. If anybody ever wants to sign up, you can speak with the 2Connect program.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes, and again, the link to sign up for drop-in mentoring is bit.ly/2 connect-drop-in, and you could see the different mentors. So there's different hours available, so whatever works for your schedule. If it doesn't, feel free to email us at 2connect.ucsd@gmail.com and see if there's a way that we could work out, because we would love to support you if you do need help. And so feel free to meet our awesome mentors like Diego and the other mentors from the 2XL program. So yeah, just to highlight some of the other programs and events that are going to be happening. On Tuesday, May 1st is going to be the First Gen event, which is paving the way to pay it forward. It's going to be the last First Gen event of the year, so feel free to come in for that. On May 11th will be the second year experience end of the year celebration. So this being the first year that 2Connect came into fruition, we would like to celebrate our success and our ability to bring in all of you and support you. So feel free to come through. There's some free food. There's going to be some prizes, so definitely check it out. And other than that, definitely check out the newsletter. There's going to be a lot of events happening this quarter, so keep an eye out for that as well. So I want to thank you for listening and hope you listen next time. All right, thank you.